Alright everybody, welcome back. What we're going to do now, I think we're going to look at the navigation. And I'd like to make it a little more dynamic. I'd like to be able to add to it in the admin, link to pages on the site, link to pages off the site, just have a little more control over it and give us just one less reason to have to come into the front end of the website, or into the code, that is, sorry, in order to affect the way the front end looks. So what we need to look at first is we need to add something to the database. So right now we have the navigation being generated from the pages that are in the database, but as we add more stuff like gallery, blog, things like that, other parts of the site, this method isn't necessarily going to work. So we're going to create a table to hold the navigation items, and this is going to give us a lot more control over this stuff. So I've opened up the old database sketch that we've used already, and I'm just going to use this to map out what we're going to do. So we'll have a table, and we'll probably just call it navigation. And as usual, we're going to need an ID for this. Now we're going to need a label, and this would be the visual end of it, you know, home, about us, whatever you want to put in there. And we have a few more things. We're going to need the URL, so where this link is going to go in the navigation. The target window, whether it's going to open up in a new window, tab, or in the same window. And we're going to want to have a position field here so that we can determine which order each one of these navigation items is in. And then, as per usual, we will do a status. I'll be able to disable some of the links in the navigation should you want to take them down, temporarily without having to delete them. So now if we hop back over to PHP at MyAdmin to get into the database here, we'll go ahead and create this table. Call it navigation, and we need 6 columns. And I'm going to go ahead and pull this off view so I can remember which ones. So we need ID, label, URL, target, position, and status. And ID, we'll just go with medium int, label will be varchar, URL varchar, target varchar, position will do int, and status will do int. And for position, let's just go ahead and give this like a 3 character. That's a big number. That's a lot of nav items you could have. And then status, just 1, and we'll give that a default of 1, so as defined 1. And I kind of got ahead of myself here. Let's go back to the top. So ID is going to need to be auto increment and the primary key. Label, we'll just do a 300, and URL do a 300. Target, off the top of my head, I don't know, let's just give it a 30. That's going to be like underscore blank or underscore new. Now I can't remember the attributes, but 30 should hold it. So let's go ahead and save. And we'll go ahead and just put in 1 record just to test with. So click on navigation, click on insert, and label will be home. URL, for now I'm just going to go ahead and copy this whole thing here. And target, we'll leave that blank. Position will be 1, and status 1. Now the URL and how we're doing this will change eventually as we continue to work on this. We're going to want to give it some options. We're going to want to be able to either put in a full URL like this, or simply link to a page within that's in the database already. And in which case we wouldn't want to put this full URL, because in the event that it's going to change, like for instance, we're working on the local host right now, we're working on my home server. If I wanted to put this up online, then I'd have an issue because the domain name would change, the URL would change, and now I've got all these kind of hard-coded in here, and I'd have to go through and change them each. So we'll come up with some ways to make that work better. So click go, and we'll browse, and there we go. We should be good to go.